Nino is a no to Forest. Worrall, you can go. And what's the latest on FFP? Welcome to your Forest transfer news. Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are. Hope you're doing well, and welcome to your latest Nottingham Forest news. Coming up in today's episode, we will talk to you about what happened with Nino. How did he go from a yes to a no? Worrall has been told by Nuno that you can go. And what's the latest on this FFP? Because things are actually sounding a lot more positive. If you're enjoying the content, let's get it out the way, guys. Get those likes up. Make sure you're subscribed if you're new to Forest Fan TV. Let's kick this off with Nino. Not Nuno, Nino. In a way, I'm kind of glad he's not coming. Can you imagine saying Nino, Nuno? Say that 10 times in a row and see how you get on with it. But this is a deal that Forest have been working on for like 3 months or so. And it was verbally agreed. The fees were agreed. Everything was verbally old school style handshake done. And now suddenly, bang, out the blue yesterday, it said that he's going to Zenit St Petersburg. What happened? The honest answer is no one actually currently knows, but there are thoughts, speculations and rumours, so let's have some fun and run through that. Now, as we know, the FFP stuff broke yesterday on Nottingham Forest. We'll talk about that again in a minute. We did a video this morning on it. Go check it out if you want a layman's description on what happened there. But on Nino, Forest were keen on him. However, there are a few things that you could argue have happened in the recent days that have screwed this up. One obviously being FFP. Can Forest afford the 5 to 6 million fee that Nino was going to cost us? Did Forest really want him? Was he someone that Cooper wanted? And when Nuno came in, that's Nuno Santo, did he look at him and think, why the hell are we buying another defender when we got about 600 of them? Or thirdly, did Nuno change his mind? Was he maybe spoken to by Santos? By the way, he's gone back to Chelsea. Or was it something else? Now, you can speculate all you want, but logic to me dictates one very simple thing. Nuno had a look at him and he was like, I don't see the point in this. He also got smashed by Man City in that Saudi thing, the World Club Championship, whatever it's called. And he didn't look good there. And I don't think we needed another centre-back. So I think that's what's happened. Nuno's made the call that this one isn't for him. Because at the end of the day, Niakate and Murillo are emerging as the #1 choice partnership. You got Felipe, who's still there when he's fit. You got Bolly, okay, he's going to AFCON. And you got Worrall, McKenna, Omobamidele, etc. There's a lot there. Now, we are going to lose Niakate, or should I say we have lost him and Bolly to the AFCON already. So it's probably, for me, going to have to be Felipe who steps in. I know it sounds a bit weird with his injury record and what have you, but as we'll talk about in a second, it looks like the other two centre-backs will be on their way out. And the other important thing to note is that Nuno, as in the manager, does not want a big squad. So having 8 centre-backs potentially is way too much for him. I think he'll be happy with 4 or 5. Obviously, AFCON is the anomaly in all of this. But the official news now is that Nino is a no, and he is going over to Zenit St Petersburg to try his trade out there. What do you guys think? Did you want Nino, or are you happy this one has been cancelled? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, sticking on the defenders theme, and this one is extremely interesting. And it sounds like Nuno has said to Worrall, you can go, mate. We don't need you. Thank you for your services, and so on and so forth. And go get yourself a new club because you're not going to be first choice here. And I am, if this is true, I am fully on board with it. I got no problems with it for a variety of reasons. Obviously, first and foremost, I don't see Joe Worrall as a starter. I see him as a decent-ish backup. Sorry, Crypto, I know that's going to offend you. But more importantly for me is the fact that he's an academy player. And what does an academy player bring? They bring pure profit. So if Forest were to say get 10 million for him, some of you will say, what, 10 million? Some of you will say that's too high. Some will say it's too low. But let's just call it 10 million for now. Every single last penny of that 10 million goes to the bottom line as profit because he's an academy player. So for me, that's actually more important than him being good enough or not good enough to start in the Forest squad. So it makes logical sense for me that this one happens. Now, where's he been linked to? We've told you before he's been linked to the likes of Middlesbrough. You've had a couple other championship clubs. I reckon Rangers might want to sniff at him because they're looking to strengthen, maybe even Celtic, who are linked to McKenna still, and that link is growing. But I think Joe Worrall, if he's going to stay in England, will either have to go to the Championship or a lower end Premier League team. Maybe Sheffield United. Jimmy, if you're watching, I know you're a fan of Joe Worrall. You could see something like that happening. But the rumours coming out now from the City ground is that Joe Worrall is on his way out. Remember, he was shunned out by Steve Cooper towards the end of his tenure, and then Nuno brought him back in and he had a few minutes against Newcastle the other day. But he is not going to be a starter. And I actually think this is better for his career. If he can go on into a club where he can start, where he can, dictate how he plays, how much he's playing, etc., it's only going to benefit him. So I'm not against this one. But let me ask you guys again, how much do you think Joe Worrall is worth? That is the real question. Let me know in the comments down below. And the other thing of this that makes sense is that, as I mentioned with Nino, too many centre backs. If you got too many, you got to get rid of some. So I expect Joe Worrall to go. I actually expect Bolly's contract to run out and be run out by the end of the year. I expect McKenna to go in this window as well. And I expect Omar Bamidele, as we told you yesterday, to be going out on loan. That in itself will trim the fat, if you like, quite nicely in that centre-back department and give Nuno what he desires, which is that more compact squad. But that's the latest on Worrall, and we'll keep you posted throughout the window. All right, so let's move on and talk about the topic that the whole world seems to be talking about right now. And that, of course, is the financial fair play stuff that we told you about this morning. And the signs are actually, in my opinion, a lot more positive than the initial explosion of emotion and reactions from the Forest fan base up and down the country, well, the world, because we are international. A lot of people are coming out and saying it's not going to be a problem. Forest are probably within FFP. The whole Brennan Johnson thing can probably be argued to be fine to have done, especially as you could argue as well that Tottenham are the ones delaying the sale because they needed the Harry Kane money, for example, to come through so that they could afford Brennan Johnson. So a lot of pundits, a lot of financial experts are coming out today and saying it's okay. Now, does that mean it's okay? Of course it doesn't. We will not know anything until the 14th of January. So all these pundits, all these financial experts, all of them don't really know what the outcome is going to be. So my message to you guys is keep it simple and let's just see where this progresses on the 14th of January. If there's radio silence on the 14th of January, we're absolutely fine. If there's not, then we'll deal with it. And as I said in this morning's video, it does not necessitate that because Forest have breached financial fair play that they will get a points deduction. Most likely it will be a fine, slap on the wrists, etc. I've heard people going like, well, can we recover a 30-point penalty? I mean, the answer to that is probably yes under Nuno. And to be honest, even if we got hit with a 10-point penalty, that would put us 5 points away from getting back out of the relegation zone. Under Nuno, we'll have that done by the Arsenal game. Nothing to worry about whatsoever, in my opinion. But I say calm heads are required right now. Let these guys work it out themselves. You got the video from this morning. You got the layman's guide to financial fair play from when we thought it was going to be an issue back in the summer. Look at that, FFTV yet again on the ball with all things Nottingham Forest. So go check that out if you want to understand exactly how FFP works in its most simplistic form. But that's the news. The one other thing I would add, just going back to Joe Worrall quickly, is that if Joe Worrall was to go, that does create us one major problem. And that problem is the homegrown quota. If we were to lose him and McKenna in this window, Forest will have to replace them. Why am I saying this? Because another question a lot of you guys are asking me in the comments is, does this mean Forest can't spend in this transfer window? The answer is yes, we can. Why? Because this tax year, or this financial fair play year, whatever you want to call it, actually is bigger for Forest, because that 13 million overspend that I told you about, one of them gets wiped off and this one goes up to overspend by 35 million. So that gives Forest 35 plus 35 plus 16. Figure that number out in the comments and let me know down below. So Forest can spend. And remember, all the spending that we did at the end of the transfer window didn't go into that previous window anyway. And Forest will have room to maneuver. So I still expect us to see some signings coming through the door. Now, am I expecting, another Sangare 30 million statement signing? No. We're probably going to see some smaller transactions. And especially with the loanees going out, Forest will definitely bring some new loan players in. The one that I'm interested in is Jota. Jota, who looks like he could be moving from Al Ittihad in Saudi back to somewhere in Europe, has that relationship with Nuno, and it will be good to see if he comes through. But that's just me speculating now. But there are small rumors about it, and we will keep you posted on it. That will do for your update right now. Please don't forget, if you haven't already, hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And go check out those FFP videos. I'll leave them on the end screen if you haven't seen them already. And come on, you Reds.